YouTube? How we doing? Lone Bottom Leafer here. Smoking my Mr. Brog with some local tobacco in it, some house blend from Emerson Cigars. Really good. Excuse this little tackle box right here. I'm kind of jerry-rigging my iPhone stand right now out here in the woods, and it's been a little bit windy, so I had to get my tackle box and set it on top of the I'm sitting on my four-wheeler and my tackle box sitting on top of my pipe bag, my iPhone sitting on top of my tackle box, so please excuse that. But I wanted to come out here to the woods to do a video for y'all. This is something that's special to me. I recently finished, actually as of last night, finished reading the Silmarillion for the second time. I also finished reading The Magician by Feist, which I'll include in another video. But I want to tell y'all why y'all should read The Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien. So, a lot of y'all are fans of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and those are excellent stories within a great universe, and keep that in mind. The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit don't make up Middle-earth. Middle-earth has its own cosmos and its own genesis and its own beginning. It's so much of a universe, and I applaud Tolkien so much for creating the universe that he did. And basically, the Silmarillion is what gives it the backstory. It gives Lord of the Rings backstory. It tells you where the elves came from, who the wizards are, what their names are. Any question that you've ever had about the past of Middle-earth is probably answered in the Silmarillion. And there's also a bunch of other supplemental works that are included in the histories of Middle-earth. I believe there's 12 volumes of those. And a lot of the material is kind of redundant, nonetheless important. But you figure out where the elves came from, and you figure out why, the Numenors, or why it's so important that Isildur's heir, Aragorn, takes the throne of Gondor. And the literary value is just so excellent. I mean, it's such a good chronology of events, and I will warn you that it's a very much adult read. It's not young adult as I would include The Lord of the Rings, or a children's novel as I would include The Hobbit. It's a very, very serious, very adult book in its writing. I wouldn't say too advanced vocabulary, but as far as following a storyline and recognizing plot points and recognizing symbols, there's a lot of foreshadowing. I say it is kind of important, and sometimes it's like reading a history book. And it starts off with the Ainulindale, and I hope I pronounced that right. It's spelled Ainulindale, which is the creation story of Middle-earth. Y'all didn't know that the god of Middle-earth, or the overseer, the creator, is Eru Ilúvatar. And he created the Ainur, which are Ainur, or Ainu. And they are basically these angelic beings that, through playing music or singing, or however, it's very hard to convey how it's told without actually quoting the book. They created Earth, and from there came lesser demons and greater angels, and you had the helpers of Middle-earth. You had the coming of the Ishtar, which is the wizards. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Ishtar is actually is actually a pagan festival from the Egyptians, and I think that's where we get Easter from. Is from Ishtar. I know that's not where J.R.R. Tolkien was referring to. I never really thought about that till then. But you really need to think about reading the Silmarillion, man. It's such a great companion guide to reading the Lord of the Rings, and to me, the stories in there, especially Beren and Luthien, are such excellent stories. I mean, if they made a story of Beren and Luthien, I think I'd pass out. Such a good story, and it's so what is so great about J.R.R. Tolkien's works in the Silmarillion is that it's mystifying. It's this mythology, and it's so all-encompassing that sometimes it's overwhelming. Actually, a lot of times it's very overwhelming. It's taken me a while to get to the second read-through because I wanted to understand all that was happening. I mean, the Silmarillion is a story mainly about, I would say, about deception. And it's about for me, it's about the human condition. That's the metaphor that I get from it. That throughout all the help and throughout all the wise people that we've had on this earth, we still fall into the same snares and the same traps and the same deceptions. And I think that's what J.R.R. Tolkien is going for. That's what I get from the story, and you'll probably get something totally different. And reading it the second time, I got something totally different from it than I did the first time, as much as reading the Bible or any other type of religious text. But some recommendations for reading it: just take it slow, man. And as far as if you want to just get a taste of what it's like and see what's going on, just read if you get the second edition, which I believe is the one that I have, and is included. I'm at the bottom of this bowl, and it is included the a section of the War of the Rings and the Third Age. And that gives you a great backstory of what's happening, and it will give you a good story of what's going to happen in the new Hobbit movie. So, especially in the third Hobbit movie, I think it's pretty clear that in the second Hobbit movie, The Desolation of Smaug, that they're going to kill the dragon, and then from there on the third movie, my guess what's going to happen is, and most people guesses, is that they're going to follow the White Council or the wizards fighting off or getting, I guess, the spirit of Sauron from Dol Guldur, or I can't remember how to say it, Dol Guldur, I can't remember. You know what I'm saying. The place where the necromancer is residing at, where you see in The Hobbit where Radagast went up there and checked it out. But I think the third movie is going to be about Sauron being kicked out of there, out of the south of Mirkwood. And then what's going to happen is they're going to show Sauron fleeing back into Mordor, and he's going to start rebuilding his armies and everything, and thus make it a perfect prequel to The Lord of the Rings. And I'll be surprised if they don't make it a standalone film and from away from the rest of The Hobbit, so that the third part of The Hobbit will distinctly be a prequel to The Lord of the Rings. And I think it'll be very successful. I think the second movie will be quite successful. And as far as all the people, you know, the reviews for The Hobbit was very mixed. I enjoyed the movie because I enjoyed the book. The book has a very light-hearted message in it. It's not nearly as complicated or as complex as the story in The Lord of the Rings or the Silmarillion. And it's very, it was written as a light-hearted story, and it was it was adapted as a light-hearted story. And I think once people get over the fact that a book doesn't have to be the same, or that, you know, The Hobbit doesn't have to be the same atmosphere and feel of The Lord of the Rings, is the better off people are going to enjoy the movie. Because, I mean, as far as the gravity of things in The Hobbit, as far as The Lord of the Rings, I mean, there's so much more at stake in The Lord of the Rings. I mean, it's either getting, you know, in The Hobbit you're getting a treasure. I mean, you have to kill Smaug, which is no small feat, of course. But, you know, in The Lord of the Rings, Frodo is saving the world, and Bilbo Baggins and The Hobbit is pretty much he's just on a treasure hunt, a big old treasure hunt. So take that in mind in the coming Hobbit films. That, you know, this isn't supposed to be as serious or nearly as and they might make it seem as serious, but it's not meant to be taken as serious as The Lord of the Rings. I didn't mean for that to be a rant or anything. It's just something that helps you enjoy the movie better, and that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. But read the Silmarillion. I promise you that'll give you great insight to what is going to be coming with the next Hobbit films. It's probably going to be a long while before they ever do anything based off the Silmarillion, which is a shame because of the copyright laws. And as y'all probably know, the Tolkien estate is not, they really don't approve too much of the film adaptations of Tolkien's works, especially Christopher Tolkien. But yeah, hope y'all guys enjoy this video. Go check out the Silmarillion. I promise you enjoy it. And anyways, guys, Lone Bomb Leafer signing out. Later.